Welcome to Mindful Mondays. So it's my birthday. And in fact, there's a lot of birthdays in my life this month, especially the first half of May. So I wanted to do a birthday episode for you all. I know birthdays come up a lot in sessions with my clients. So I just wanted to go over some of the things that I hear about and that I've experienced myself, kind of in looking back in birthdays past, specifically like birthday blues, right? So I'm going to go over kind of my thoughts on that, which I think kind of come down to expectations, comparison, and then existential crisis. So let's break it down. Expectations. So these can be like expectations you might have for the people in your life that are unspoken, right? Almost what I call secret love tests. If they love me, they'll know what I want for my birthday or how I want to celebrate, right? But people can't read minds, and perhaps, you might want something different, Even if you wanted something in years past for your birthday, perhaps you want to switch it up. So yeah, not to think that people are going to know just because they care about you and they love you. And not to assume that if they don't do what you were hoping, that means that they don't care about you or they don't want to celebrate you, right? So looking at unspoken expectations as well as the stories that we make around that. There's also sometimes unconscious expectations. Perhaps we don't know that we expect something until those expectations aren't met and we feel the disappointment that comes from unmet expectations. So you might even look back in past years to see maybe where those disappointments were if you don't know what your expectations are. And so those disappointments might give you clues about maybe what you do expect. And that way you can start asking for what you want. And also checking in with yourself. I've heard too, a lot of people who say, well, I don't want to expect anything because then I won't get disappointed. Which is, a theory. But then I think we do have those expectations. We still have desires and wants and needs. So just to pretend, well, I'm just going to go with the flow and not have any, I think those unconscious ones can come creep in. So rather really bring awareness to what are our expectations? What do we want and need? Going back to the awareness and contact cycle. Kind of asking for those more directly, right? Also for ourselves, how to more consciously create the day or the month, right? Like my birthday's on a Monday. Not an ideal day to celebrate things, at least in my mind. Maybe for you love Mondays, but so it might be, to plan things around the month. I really like that because then it's like celebrate my birthday month instead of just my birthday. So more consciously creating the day or the celebration. What does that include for you? Yeah. And also to get out of your house, it is, you might want to just not celebrate with people, which is also fine, right? And I think it could be really helpful to get out of the house. So again, my birthday being today on Monday, a lot of people are working. A lot of things in my area are closed on Mondays, but I love nature, going out for a hike, weather permitting, or to a garden, to read a book on a bench or find a tree that I can safely climb. I love going on swings. It's not something that I do every day, but that the inner child really gets excited about. So how can I spend the day with myself that might be really nurturing and celebrating different aspects of me. Maybe I'll, pull out the paints and get creative. Things that I want to do and intend to do, but don't always do, right? What else? So expectations. All right, comparison, right? I think probably most people have heard the quote. I don't know who it's from, so I apologize that I'm not gonna give credit. But the comparison is the thief of joy, which is so true. So not comparing yourself to others. And this again around birthdays, right? So for people who really look at Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media stuff, looking at how other people are celebrated, or their big party, or all the birthday messages they get, or whatever it might be, that you're comparing yourself to. Or even if you're comparing yourself to other birthdays past, or other people in your life and how they're celebrated, rather than looking at like you and what do you want to do to celebrate and how can you create that. A lot of meaning making happens with comparisons, right? It might be like, oh, they like that person more, or that person is more important to them, when really that's not the case at all, at least not based on that. So really watching those comparisons. I think that's all I want to say on that one. It's a big one, but also very simple. So bringing it back to, well, where am I at? What do I want? How do I want to celebrate? And it might look different for different people because everybody, gets to do it their own way. Okay, and then the third being the existential crisis. So this could be fears around getting older and what that means, fearing the aging process, like running out of time. I was born and I will die. These are facts for anybody watching this. And so another birthday is like closer to the finish line. This is not one that I've experienced personally. I think probably because of having a really tough time early on. I kind of celebrate getting older. I feel like I'm, healing more and more from the traumatic past, that I actually look forward to being older and, coming more into my own. And I know a lot of people do struggle with fears around the aging process, fears around running out of time. So for this one, I think it's important. I'm kind of going to comparison too. Like if there are things like, I'm running out of time to do the things that are important to me, maybe making a list of what those things are and identifying what is it that I want to achieve and that I haven't done, and just pick one, right? As a perfectionist overachiever, it's easy to like pick all of them, but pick one and really break it down into smaller parts. And then if that's too big, break that down into smaller parts, and you can look at a year plan, and then work backwards. Like, what are some action steps towards achieving this goal or accomplishment that's really important to you, that you would be like, yes, go me if I achieved it, rather than feeling helpless and hopeless about the process, right? So again, as far as being able to celebrate you more fully, watch those sneaky expectations of yourself, of others. Really, as you're coming towards your birthday, to look at, how do I want to celebrate this year? Who do I want to celebrate with? Instead of waiting for people to contact you, reaching out to whoever it is, your family, your friends. My birthday's coming up, and I'd really love to spend some time celebrating that with you. what date works. Let's get something on the calendar. I'm a planner, so that works for me. But yeah, to look at that. Comparisons. Watch out for those comparisons. And if it is like even comparing yourself with yourself, like maybe it's like, I didn't accomplish anything this past year. Like instead of beating yourself up about whatever it might sound like, if I just didn't get anything accomplished. First of all, I kind of doubt that. I think we accomplished it's like I think sometimes we have to look for the big things, and maybe there wasn't a huge accomplishment, but if I really think about it, I could probably think of these small things, even if it was that I continued the path of, I continue to exercise regularly and read regularly or whatever it might be. So it could be that you've continued something that you started a while back, and to congratulate yourself for that. But to list out, what have I accomplished? What have I achieved this year? And if there is something kind of nagging that I didn't do this year, again, pick one and like get out a plan. How do I want to create that in my life? And then taking steps towards that. And perhaps even sharing these accomplishments and as well as goals or things that you want to achieve with the people that you're celebrating with, to really feel seen and celebrated. To share that with the people that are important to us can be really nurturing. And that can be something that throughout the year you can share, like, oh, I achieved this, milestone towards the big goal I told you about on my birthday. And then to celebrate what you've been achieving along the way is part of that. Yeah. So I hope this helps with being able to feel more empowered to celebrate a birthday rather than what I might hear and what I've experienced some years of, like a dread of the birthday coming up and what that's going to look like and wanting to just skip over it, right? So I hope this has been helpful. I hope you have a spring or summer birthday that you can start kind of thinking ahead as to how you want to celebrate, and start listing those accomplishments and creating that day, week, month, however you want to do it, and really celebrate you, because you're worth celebrating. Yeah. All right. Well, have a mindful day. And if you are a Taurus May baby, then happy birthday to you.